Hi there. I finally got Facebook Live to work. It isn't working from my phone. And I'm in my car today. Normally I don't post from my car. I'll try to get this stable for you. There we go. But I wanted to talk about family because here we are in our holiday week, going into the holiday season, and being around family can be both wonderful and horrible depending on the circumstances. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. And what I've learned is that sometimes death, divorce, histories of abuse can cause us to lose our sense of family and cause us to feel really isolated and alone. And we sort of have to then redefine what family is to us, because we are social animals, and we do need that comfort of connection. We need that sense of belonging that we get from having a family. And what I've seen a lot of times when you have families where there's a lot of dysfunction, it's sometimes hard to feel that sense of connection. I even have people in my practice, and for myself, I've had some people in my family that I've had to eliminate from what I consider my actual family, because if there are people in your life who are maybe family members, maybe they're people that you were born into having in your life, who are not people that you would choose to have around you because they're not supportive, or because even more so, perhaps because they are actually harmful to you. There are times when you have people in your family that you know to be abusive, and know that when you're around them, you will not feel good. You will feel put down. You'll feel abused emotionally or physically or even sexually. And those times you have to make a conscious choice to take care of yourself and maybe choose to eliminate them from your family, and then choose who you have in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I honestly believe that it's really important that you recognize that you are responsible for the quality of your life. And when you are choosing to put yourself in a position where you will be around people who are dangerous to you or damaging to you in some way, that you will choose to keep them out of your life. That's your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility. It's nobody else's job to make you happy. It's your job to make you happy. And so you have to ask yourself, what does that mean? Does that mean going back to be around people who you know are going to hurt you, that are going to make you feel less than, put you down, criticize you, judge you, condemn your choices, whether it's sexual, spiritual, religious, life choices, divorce choices, marriage choices? It is your right and responsibility, more importantly, to yourself to make sure that you have a family around you, but they don't have to be the family that you were born into. It is okay to choose to build a family that is not of your heritage, perhaps. Perhaps they are people who are your family of choice. So you pick people to be in your life who are people that you feel loved and supported and nurtured by, not people who are going to make you feel less than, or try to make you feel less than. Hi, Paul. Or maybe they're going to criticize you and put you down, and that is not a healthy way to live. Hi, Robert. So choose people in your life to be around, especially during the holiday season. You know, I see a lot of times their depression gets really high during the holiday seasons. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Sometimes it's because there are anniversaries around those dates. I know for myself, my son was born November 18th, and then he died January 11th. So that holiday period is all the time I had with him. And I've come to a point where I can use it to remember him and celebrate him. But for the longest time, hi Jerry, it was difficult for me to be happy during that time period, because it would bring up memories of that loss, that enormous loss in my life. So getting to a place where you recognize that it's okay to feel how you feel, whatever that is, and you don't have to pretend. Family should be a place where you can be how you are, when you can be authentically yourself. You don't have to put on a show and try to pretend that you're happy or that you're successful or that everything's going great. That's not what you need when you have the resource of family. The resource of family means it's okay to be exactly where you are, whatever that is, and allow yourself to feel comforted and nurtured by that family, not judged or put down because you're not having this incredibly amazing life that you hoped you had. Hi, Sabrina. So if you are one of those people who struggles during the holidays, it's okay. Find people in your life who are family, who are people who you can share your heart with. Because the truth is, and we've learned this through research, although it sort of intuitively makes sense anyway, to me always has, that it's our lack of connection that often is what drives addictions. It is the thing that drives depression. It's the thing that drives anxiety. It's that sense of not having a place where we belong and we feel safe and can really share our hearts with people, that leaves us in a place where we're more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol and food. And I think a lot of times the holiday seasons, part of the reason why people experience them as being negative is that you go into an environment where people have that false sense of, I should be happy, I should be celebrating, I should be all of these things. And so then they use food or they use alcohol or they use other drugs to help enhance their mood so that they can put on the show of being this happy, contented person. And then we overindulge, and then it perhaps even can create trauma. I've had plenty of my clients who the holidays are a terrifying time for them because it means the adults around them became intoxicated and things got out of hand. Physical conflicts, sexual abuse, all kinds of things that happen. Hi, Anthony. During the holiday season, so that family then becomes this place of not being safe. And thank you, Anthony. So when you are going into your holiday season, be conscious of choosing the people that you want to be around and picking people that you can be your safe self with, that you can share your heart with, that you can allow yourself to be real with. And if there are people, sometimes it's a mixed bag, right? So you'll have some family members that are comfortable and some that are not, and some that you can share your political views with, and some that you cannot, some that you can share your heart with, and some that you cannot. That's okay. And so do your best to provide personal space boundaries with those people so that you can allow yourself to enjoy being around the people that you choose to be around. And you can do that without being rude. You just say hello, you be cordial, and then you move yourself to spend more time with those people who have earned the right to be in your life in that way. And if you don't have a family, if you find yourself in a situation where through deaths or divorce or relocations, you find yourself being alone during this holiday season, I highly encourage you, hi Danny, welcome. I highly encourage you to find a group of people who maybe are also in that same situation, who are friends, perhaps, maybe through a church or through a community that you're a part of, and allow yourself to connect with someone on Thanksgiving Day or within that holiday, either Thanksgiving Day or the day after or the Saturday after, so that you have some sense of connection over the holidays. Because I do honestly believe that we are meant to have that connection. That's really the purpose of the season, is to to allow ourselves to enjoy the beauty of that connection. And when we don't give ourselves permission to do that, and we see it happening with other people around us, we see people's posts on Facebook, we see comments from our peers about what their holiday was like, and we did not have that, it can seriously trigger old feelings of abandonment and feelings of being not enough that can pull us down a dangerous path. So make sure, regardless of what your situation is, and I have a dear friend who's just gone through a divorce, and his family's really thrown apart, and I know he must be feeling pretty alone right now, and I know that he's not. In fact, there are lots of us in his community who love him and would open our doors. I'm not going to be in town, but I know of other people who I'm sure would open their doors for him. All that you have to do is ask. And a lot of times that's hard for us, right? It's hard for us to be vulnerable enough to say, look, I'm in trouble. I need some support right now. And I highly encourage you to do that. I have another friend who seriously going through homelessness and has been for many years, and is finally starting to get herself back on her feet, but she has very few people in her life. So even if you're in a situation like that, there are people around. Hi, Bill. Welcome. And hi, Kumar. So if you find yourself alone, if you find yourself in a place where you don't have community around you, reach out. There, you could even post on Facebook and reach out to people on Facebook that you know care about you, that perhaps you don't have daily connection with. Hi, Michael. But do find community. There is community available. And in fact, I think that regardless of what other things may have come from Facebook, I do love the fact that Facebook has built my sense of community, and that you guys are there. These people, those of you watching today and who are willing to share yourself with me just by being here, I see that as part of my family, because my family has grown smaller. I've gone through a divorce, and I now have just my nuclear family. That's my children. I have some family still in Oklahoma, but I don't see a lot of them. My mom's gone, my dad's gone, my little brother's gone. I just have a couple of sisters left up there, and some nieces and nephews that I do go and try and celebrate some of the Christmas season with as much as I can. But I'm here alone in Dallas, and if I were not going someplace this week, I would have to really reach out. And in fact, I'm going to have to do that probably around Christmas time, because I don't have family here in the area. So I will reach out to my local family, the people who are my actor friends, my counseling friends, my psychodrama community friends, and find those ways to connect with people who I share that internal connection with and feel safe with, in terms of being able to fully open myself to them and talk about the struggles that I've had, because this last year and a half has not been an easy one for me. In fact, the last few months, I've really opened up to a lot of feelings that I had been blocking due to all the stuff that I had worked through last year, and now I'm finding myself opening up to a whole different level. And it's a mixed bag when we do that, right? There's this beautiful sense of final connection with ourselves, and then hi, Matthew, and then there's also that the amazing intensity of feelings that comes with that. That's okay. That's part of being a human being and being alive. And I believe that family is really about finding those people who you can allow yourself to be fully real with, authentic with, to whatever that is, to be the silly self, singing karaoke and dancing, and also be the part of you that is wounded and in pain, and sharing all of that with a group of people who perhaps can accept that. And if your personal family isn't like that, you know what? You don't have to be there just by obligation. One of the things that I have worked with a lot of my clients on is realizing that just because they are part of your family, it doesn't mean that you have to expose your own self and your children to a place where even if it's just expected, it's what you've always done. If that doesn't feel okay to you, it's okay to say no. I highly recommend saying no to things that don't feel good to you. And of course, you have to be willing to be connected enough with yourself that you know what feels good to you so that you can make those choices. So coming back to what is family, family are those people who are willing to be with you thick and thin, and who work through conflicts with you, and who are not judgmental or abusive to you in any way, who can allow you to be you. That doesn't mean they're always going to be happy with who you are, but they're going to share it in such a way that you're not feeling attacked. That's what family is. People that you can be fully yourself with, and that you can work through conflict with in a healthy way. And learning how to do that, of course, is part of our challenge, right? It's part of each of our challenges. I am not a person who's comfortable with conflict, and yet I teach people. Hi, William, Bill, Booth. So being comfortable, being a person who's uncomfortable with conflict. Oh, brother, sitting in my car, I didn't bring myself something to drink. Sorry about that. So learning how to do healthy conflict is one of the challenges of my lifetime, and I still struggle with it. It's still difficult for me when I'm uncomfortable to be able to speak my truth, but part of that comes from my history of rescuing and believing that I had to make everybody happy. Anybody have that experience? Yeah, a lot of us do that. A lot of us believe that we have to make other people happy before we make ourselves happy, which means we say yes to things we don't really want to do, and we avoid conflict so that we don't have to feel the discomfort of that conflict. And learning how to do it differently, our old brain thinks that if we're not rescuing, then we're attacking, and that's just not true. We can learn to speak our truth in such a way that we're just owning what we're feeling. It doesn't mean that the other person is doing anything wrong when we say, you know what, when you said that, when you did that, when this happened, I felt this way, I felt uncomfortable, I felt hurt, I felt confused, I felt scared because, and then you say why you felt that way. Because I was thinking that meant you were mad at me, or because I really don't like that kind of music, or I really don't like being in that kind of space, it's too busy for me, or whatever it is. To speak your truth without worrying about whether or not somebody else is going to like it, because it's not your job to make them like it. It's okay if they don't like it. It doesn't mean you don't care. You can be empathetic with it. You can understand that they're uncomfortable with it. But it's really important that you speak your truth, because if you don't, then you are abandoning yourself. I've talked about that before. So you need to have family around you who you can speak your truth with, and who can be present for that without blaming you, attacking you, or abandoning you for that. And if you have people around you who can do that for you, well, that's home, right? That's what home is. When people say, what is home? Home is those people in your life who you can take a deep breath, and you can laugh, and you can be yourself, and you can make mistakes, and you will not be discarded or abused or judged for being just a normal human being, because we all do make mistakes. Heck, it's how we learn. We can't learn without making mistakes. And we can provide that same sense of family for the people in our lives. So if you have people that you know are struggling right now, and you can provide a safe home for them, even if it's just for a few hours, see if you could reach out to them, because my gosh, what a difference you could make to some people. I know there are people in our community that are suffering right now who could really benefit from having a place. Hi, Kitty. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that your holidays will be wonderful. I'm excited that I'm actually going to go and spend the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with my daughters and their children, and except for my daughter who lives in Germany, which she's not coming this time, but I will get an opportunity to be around all of my grandchildren, and I'm looking forward to having that sense of safety and community there. And it's not always easy. There's stresses, all kinds of stresses when you have that many people around. There's 4 kids and 4 adults and myself. So thanks, Bill. And there can be conflicts, there can be difficulties, there can be mistakes made, and that's okay. We can learn to accept that and to share our truths with people in such a way where they feel loved and accepted without us having to avoid what our truths are. That's family. And that's what I'm looking forward to, because I've really been building that with my children over the last several years. And and Republicans. And there are some Republicans in my family. There are Republicans in all of our families, right? So there's a big challenge. And it is possible with even those people to speak your truth without rejecting them for having their truth, because all of us do have different truths, and I can respect their right to have their opinion even if I don't respect what it is they're saying. They have that right, and I hope that they feel comfortable enough to speak their truth. I think most of my family is pretty much on the same page with me, but I know most of our families have splits, and that's a really scary thing when we come into the holidays, especially with everything that's going on in the national scene right now. But I highly encourage you just to speak your truth in a hi Matthew, I will do that. So as you go about the holiday season, learn to speak your truth. When this happens, when you do this, when this was said, I felt this way because, and get back to me if you have had opportunities to speak your truth and not avoid conflicts, not avoid difficult subjects, and it's been received positively or negatively. I'd love to hear some of your experiences, because just because you speak your truth doesn't mean somebody's not going to be upset by it, and it's okay. It's only your job to be empathetic. It's not your job to fix it, make it better. Just to empathize with that it might be hard for them to hear your truth. That's our job. So if you want to know more about me, you can go to my page, melodybrooke.com. You can also check out my book. It's called Oh Wow, This Changes Everything. It was labeled that because the first people who read it were like, oh wow, this changes everything, because it totally does. It's not new information, it's not new data, but it is put together in a completely new way, which helps you look at everything differently. It shifts how you feel about everything that happens in your life. Hi, Christy. And hi, oh my gosh, I can't read. Brayun? Has anybody that's on today, if this is your first time on, please tell me where you're from and how you found me. I'd love to know about that. And I hope that you can find your home, whatever that is, over the holiday season, and find your family, find a group of people that you can feel comfortable being authentically you with. And I appreciate your being willing to share this little bit of time with me today, and I trust that you will have a lovely, safe holiday, and I will see you next Monday at 5 o'clock and I will possibly be just off the ski slopes. I'm not sure when I'm skiing next week, but I'm going to be skiing next week. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.